Hi, everyone. This is Jim Pagiamsis from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm the founder of 21 Connections, where I help entrepreneurs learn, speak, and socialize with proven strategies that work. I'm excited to share today my first show on Blab, and I have the amazing Tanya Hoffman, and she's gonna do her own introduction because I think it's best she do it. And so, go ahead, Tanya.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim, for having me on your show. It's really exciting to see you kind of expanding and growing, and you are amazing at my public speakers conference, and I'm super excited about it again this year. We're going to have people like Tim Gillette, and we're going to have people like, oh my gosh, Tracy Repchek's coming back, and I just talked to Jane Duber. Oh my gosh, we're going to have an amazing lineup. But I am Tanya Hoffman. I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association and Career Speaker Academy. And I love helping people get their message out there so they can go out and change lives and make money at the same time.
Yeah, so that was the premise of Join the Gym. I just came out with this slogan about 3-4 weeks ago. And it looks like everybody likes this slogan. I'm not sure because they want to go work out or they want to hopefully join my community. So I've been interviewing people for many years on my blog through video and audio. And the Blab seems to be catching that big fire of a great place to engage, but also get people to ask questions and so forth. So the scope of this sort of mini interview here is Tanya has definitely been an accomplished speaker and done great things with the Public Speakers Association. As you said, I attended the conference in June. I've been running a chapter here in Toronto and a few other chapters here just outside Toronto. But the scope of this Blab is to talk about speaking, expertise, and making money. The third one's the most important one. But the first is about speaking. I believe that everyone has an expertise. And I started speaking about networking and mentorship in 2007 and just went around measuring one little article and getting paid speaking engagements. Fast forward to 2015, I've been hired by multiple organizations. One is Constant Contact, where I spoke here in Toronto for 3 years. I had a chance to again go to San Antonio. I've been to Harrison, Arkansas to speak as well, and some other places in the United States. So I wanted Tanya to share a little bit about her story because she has a very interesting story as well, how she got into speaking. So I want to share a little bit about your story, Tanya.
Yeah, it's super exciting to help people, to have that transition. It's my favorite thing to do. Because, a lot of times people, they're like, well, how could I be a speaker? Who am I to be a speaker? And this is a picture of me in 2005 as an introvert before I could even think that I was a speaker. So I love this picture because it's so awful. This was at a holiday gala, and it was like, don't look at me type of picture. And that was the headshot that they did, professional headshot, right? I look like I should be part of the Addams family. I don't know. So if I could go from Addams family to now running around the world speaking, helping people, making money at it, that is so gratifying. And one of my favorite things to ever do is watch people transition. The other day someone's like, who's your favorite speaker? Was it Zig Ziglar? Is it Tony Robbins? Who's your favorite? And I'm like, it was a lady that came on one of our virtual summits, and it was her first time to speak ever. And she's on the telephone, and the poor lady was hyperventilating the entire time. She would say a couple things, and then she'd, okay, hold on. And she'd stop for a minute, and she'd catch her breath, and she would start again. She did that for 25 minutes. But she got through it. And the people, wow. I was surprised how many people stayed on, because usually people would just drop off. But you could tell that people were there to support her. And afterwards, they were all like, yay, you got through it. So the next month she came back on, she only hyperventilated once the whole time. As when she first got started, all the, but then after that she was fine. And then the next time, no more.
Yeah.
That's what I love. That is exciting.
That's a powerful story. I mean, when I first started speaking, I have video to prove this. I was not a great speaker. I had everything going wrong. I had computers, crapping out on me. My USBs flying. I had the subways thundering over my head. I've had everything happen, but I realized that I just one thing that I was persistent and persistent in the fact that I wanted to get better. And when I joined the Public Speaker Association a few years ago, I learned this new word. It was called tweaking from Tanya, and I have tweaked uh, so much that I realized that has helped me grow. And now the fact that to help other speakers evolve. I have one speaker in the PSA. She was using cue cards in her presentation. It was okay, but it was a little distracting. 60 days later, she came again, the same presentation, no cue cards. I was like standing ovation. Because what?
Yep.
She practiced, she evolved. And I believe that the PSA gives people that platform that they can get on a virtual summit. We have one happening next week, 17th and 18th.
And I still have spots open. I still need people to present.
We have the Career Speakers Academy starting in January, end of January, virtual training session at the end of January. And I just booked a venue for February here in Toronto at the end of February next year. I'm really excited about that. So there's a lot of great things happening. And I think the reason I want to do this blab is, yes, I want you to join my community. You can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. But I really believe more in 2016 is, which community are you part of? I was literally on the phone with a gentleman that I'm going to be interviewing in a few weeks. And he's going to be coming to one of the PSA events here at the end of November. I'm really pushing hard to having my last PSA event this Thursday in Toronto. No, sorry, in 2 weeks in Toronto. And I want to have a big crowd. So I'm on the phone literally every day and entice people to come. But I really believe that 2015 going into 2016 is a great opportunity for many individuals, professionals, even entrepreneurs, to leverage their expertise and really monetize it. And I believe that I've had a chance to do it. I've had a chance to make significant income from speaking and selling services. And I wanted Tanya to join up because she has done it as well. But to tell people a couple of strategies just to understand the power of not just of speaking, but the resources you have. So I wanted Tanya to share a little bit about that and go from there.
Yeah, one of the things that people get stuck on is how to develop community, just like your little show here is join the gym community, right? And speaking is one of those platforms. But what I see as something that especially people that have been speaking for a long time do is they aren't building community. They go, they speak, they're done, right? They get the check and they're back home. And so there's really no momentum for them. So in today's speaking world, it's all about driving those people to you. Because for me, when I first started speaking, people were like, oh, here's a check, come speak, done. I'm like, wait a moment. Don't I get to do something with these people afterwards? And I realized that there was this misconnection. And so myself and my friends started to change this world so that we could come in, develop a relationship, which is what you're doing, right? You're developing a relationship with everyone in the room. Yeah. And then somehow through a contest, through lead generation of some sort, yes, percentage wants to buy from you right then, but the rest you're going to bring them in and continue the conversation with them. Social media, email marketing, something so that you can continue the conversation, because that's a relationship that you don't want to leave. If they loved you speaking, why would you want to give that up? That person needs to follow you so that you have a chance to really change their life forever.
Yeah, and my poster here says, networking, appreciation marketing, speaking and training, and social media. Those are 4 areas that I've been working on. I just actually got my new business card that I just got done today, and I'll be getting next week. Can't wait to share with the world. And really epitomizes 3 things I do: learn, speak, and socialize. It's on the back of the card. I put a picture of my book, and I can't wait to share it. And again, the reason I did this is yesterday, we had a conversation about this with Tanya and her graphic artist, Alicia White. So I got on the phone with my graphic artist here in Toronto, who I actually mentored, and we've been working together for the past year. So I told him over the phone what I wanted, and he delivered something for me. I was like in awe last night. I was like, whoa, that's it. Because I just want to create a business card. I want to create a business card that's actually a teaching tool that gives people opportunity what I do. And so I can actually direct people. Here's my social media. Here's my email address. But here are three things that I do. Speaking, I'm available to speak at your event. So making an effective marketing tool. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that during the Public Speaker Association and a couple of years ago and really evolving, I've seen how I've become a better speaker. I've had many of my friends attend some of the events I've been to last number of months. And they're like, wow, you're a really great speaker. I'm like, really? Now you notice this now? But it was kind of funny. But at the end of the day, I think I want to talk a little bit more about the community, because we all have great services. So I've had great service. I'm a speaker with Constant Contact. I've been speaking for 4 years. I was an authorized expert for 2 years. I have built a business around that. I have added services to that. And that's what I'm excited about, not just the Public Speaker Association, but the Career Speakers Academy, where we can take that person to the next level sooner rather than later. And I think that for me, going through the training here the past couple of weeks has challenged me to, okay, I need this, I need that, I need a one sheet. And I'm working on this stuff right now, so I can email Tanya and show her my one sheet. She'll go, wow, Because Tanya has this amazing one sheets. So I don't know if I can beat her out of one sheets, but maybe I can come close. But you need that. You need those marketing tools. And I've taken everything that I've learned, but now I'm applying it so I can create a better platform for myself to get hired in 2016. I've been hired as a master of ceremonies here, numerous times for events. I'm speaking for a number of events here going into December. I was at an event this weekend. I got booked for a potential gig to speak for a financial services organization, about 50 people. And again, it's all about follow up. Doesn't matter what month we're in, business still has to move forward.
Right.
Tanya has definitely written a number of books. She won a number of awards this year. And the reason those awards happen is because she's served. She's given value. So one of the things that I'm big on, and I'm going to give some information here, is the types of talks you can do. So I'll share one, and I'll throw over to Tanya. So I think you should have 3 types of talks, but one talk you should have is a little 10-minute talk. I call it, the TEDx talk, where you can speak for 10 minutes, give a great story with great impact. And this is something we teach in the PSA, but I want to give you some value where maybe you had an experience. So I went to Atlanta for a mini conference in May. So I turned it into a talk called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in 2 hotels. And I've done it about 3-4 times, and I'll be doing it again in January. And people said, you should turn it into a comedy act. I'm like, a comedy act? There was a great movie that came out a number of years ago with John Candy and Steve Martin about this. So I just, stole the title, and used it for myself. But I've gotten some great feedback from it. So I'll do the talk again. But it's all about things that happened in my journey. So you want to talk about this, Tanya, about your expertise and how you can leverage it, especially in speaking?
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of your transition. One of the things that I've seen even for myself is that people get stuck because, we hang around a certain group of people, and then that's the expectation of those people, and so you have to really push yourself to go further by start hanging out with different types of people. And a lot of people really struggle with this. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. If you're staying in your comfort zone, it's not going to happen for you. So, look at where can you go to connect with people, letting them know that you're a speaker. Because if they don't know, how are they going to book you? No one just comes up to someone like, wow, I think you would be a great speaker. They just don't do that. You have to let them know that that's your expertise. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to start out with being awful. We all start off, I was shaking and, I had to get through that, right? You have to get through those challenges with our own personalities and our fears. And the only way to really do that is to actually do it. You know, so many people keep themselves from doing blab, you know, doing these things that could help them in their business, help them in their career, help them in their speaking. But they are like, well, I've never done that before. Well, who cares if you've never done that? It may not be perfect. It may have issues.
Well,
You
that's
know,
true.
Jim had issues this morning trying to do this, you know. But that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to help. And most people get it, you know. I remember the time I spoke at an event here in Austin, and one of my friends that I kind of had left behind, I was like kind of disconnected myself because she was so negative. And she came, I hadn't seen her like in 10 years or so, maybe not quite that long, but she came to my event that I was speaking at. I didn't know she was even there until afterwards. And she came running up and she gave me a hug and everything. And she goes, oh my gosh, who are you? You're funny now. And so we can see our transitions, and other people can see it, you know, but you got to get through it.
You do. So one of the tips that I want to give is I actually started recording myself in 2007 when I started speaking. I record myself. I have hundreds of hours of good, bad, and super amazing talks that I've given. And I did an interview last year with a gentleman here in Toronto. It's called Rethinking the Art of Networking. It's actually on YouTube. And it's nearing 3 to 4, I think 400 views. And it's really professionally done. And I've done a number of them, but I want to do more of those. And here at Blab, I took a challenge from Tanya to do my own Join the Gym Blab. And let me tell you, last week I was like excited. And then this week I became a little super nervous. And tonight I have major issues, Jim. I don't even talk about what happened this morning. But Tanya swooped in and pressed the buttons and got it done. So thank you for that. But that's part of being a team. You know, I've had my last PSA meeting. I had Dylan Raymond speaking, and we had huge challenges with Skype, and we just pushed through it. I told the gentleman, listen, I apologize, but we need to have Dylan Raymond speaking. So the month before, we had no problems, but we had a little bit of a rookie person handling the thing, and then the manager came and kept lowering the volume. I'm like, I kept increasing the volume. So I had little issues, and this manager I don't really like that much, but I had to respect their space. So I came to the conclusion, maybe I'm going to have to find another space for this event potentially down the road. But it happens. But we pushed through. Dylan presented his talk, and he emailed me after. He goes, that's you, Jim, just pushing through. I go, listen, they got to make it happen. But the world of speaking is an awesome experience, and I've had a taste of it, again, going all around Ontario, speaking in San Antonio. I've spoken in Harrison, Arkansas, and some other places. But I believe you got to make that impact. And if you don't go out there and tell people, that's why I'm sharing a little bit of my story of how a number of friends know I'm a speaker. They call me up. Listen, Jim, can you speak? I'll pay you so-and-so money for 8 hours. I do a lot of work with Constant Contact. They pay me to help them at trade shows all around Toronto here. And that's something that I had to understand. Okay, I'll be there, but can you offer a fee? Absolutely. They pay me. So this is the confidence I have now, that I'm not going to go out there and be available all the time. I have to limit the amount of time. If I'm going to leave the threshold of my place here, why am I going out there? Like, for example, tonight, I am going to a special VIP event for an event happening here in Toronto in 2 weeks. It's I'm wearing my suit tonight. I'm wearing my hand suit. Because there's gonna be people who are actually organizers of other events at this event tonight. And we're going to a little shishi place here in Toronto called Yorkville. So I'm dressing to the 9.9s, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. You know, I got my little Movember mustache here, but that's okay. But you got to go, and that's why Tanya is right about where you're going. I was spending a lot of time going to meetups. No offense to meetups, but I had to find out to go to other higher-end events where those people who book people like myself to speak are there. And that's a change in mindset, ladies and gentlemen, and realizing you're worth something, your knowledge is worth something. And with the Public Speaker Association, we have so many different types of things. We have the virtual summit next week. We have Tanya Hoffman show. We have this Blab show you can be on. So there's vehicles that you can leverage, and that's so important. I have leveraged these vehicles, and I've been hired because of these vehicles. I'm actually charging to interview a gentleman in 2 weeks here in Toronto. We already worked out an agreement. for an hour's worth of work. I don't care how much hours, but I'm getting paid to interview. Again, this is something that Tanya has encouraged me to do, that I've done, but I'm going to do it at a higher level, because now he's going to be sharing on my social platforms, but there's a fee for that, and that's just a mindset change that I've gone through. I'm growing too, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't figured everything out. So, how about you, Tanya? Can you talk a little about that? Because I know you've done guest articles for the Caps magazine you did here in the summertime. Can you share a little bit about that on your end?
Yeah, it's all about collaborating.
Yeah.
People are like, how in the world did you get onto the front cover? It's back here somewhere.
Yeah.
How did you get on the back? Yeah, how did you get on the front cover and have the main article in my competitions magazine, right? So NSA, CAPS is the National Speakers Association, Canadian Association of Professional
Speakers.
Like
yep.
And so it's this huge organization. And people are like, I can't believe you were on your competitions magazine, and not just in it, but like the main person. And I said, it's all about building relationships. I always go in with, how can I be of service? How can I help you? And when you go in with that, not expecting anything from it, because I certainly didn't expect to be on the front cover or in the magazine at all, it just opens up doors. And this lady was, she's like, oh, I'm really struggling. I need to find some people to be in the magazine. I said, let me help you. I know people. And so I went to work connecting her. And so suddenly she emailed me back. She goes, I think I want you to write an article. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. She goes, would you like to do the featured article? I'm like, okay. I said, and she goes, I'll put you on the front cover as the main, person. And I'm like, well, isn't this going to upset somebody in your organization? And she was like, I don't care. She goes, you've helped me so much. You have made my job, which was a volunteer position. You got to start thinking about if you're going to have volunteers, But she was like, I needed your help and you helped me and I want to give back. It's the give back. But it's not connected to strings. And this is what a lot of people have, is they offer something, but it's like it's on a fishing hook, right? They'll throw it out at somebody, but it's connected. And people feel that. They feel like when they've been hooked, and they don't like it. So stop hooking people and just offer, a rope that they can hold on to. And if they want to, they could pull you in. Don't make it this feeling of, I'm going to do something for you only if you're going to do something for me. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and one of the things that Tanya's done, maybe we should talk about this, is collaboration. Now, I'm a big fan of this. I think that if you put together individuals that you can work with, and we've had some collaboration circles that I've been a part of here in the recent months, and I found them very empowering. But I learned a lot, because we have in the PSA some amazing members. We have people who are graphic artist specialists, people who are Dylan Raymond, who's wrote a book on military service and transitioning into professional service. We have oh my goodness, how many? I mean, I met about 100 of them in June. I'm interviewing Candy. Candy Barone is speaking at my event in November 26th. Nice. She's extremely busy here in November, but I pleaded with her, please, can you speak 25 minutes? And she said she's gonna tune in. So I have Tom Campbell coming from Hamilton, who's going to be sharing about a new project he's working on. So I have done, I think for myself as a connector, as a networker, I have done amazing things. I've started a Blog Talk radio show about 3 years ago. I've interviewed Olympians. I've interviewed a number of PSA members the past 3-4 months. I'm going to have Tanya on my show very, very soon. So I think that for me, you have to do that, because that's something of leverage for you in a positive way. I'm hooking them in, but I'm leveraging as resources in my community. So yes, it says join the gym, but I think you being part of my community, you'll be surprised what could happen if we collaborate together. And I've seen the power of that with that. And again, Dylan Raymond, I mentioned him because he was my roommate in June in San Antonio. So we got to spend a lot of great time together and understand the power of working together. But we've lost Tanya here, so I'll wait till she gets back in. But in the meantime, a little bit about, again, what I was sharing with you here about networking, appreciation marketing, training, and marketing. These are all areas that you need in your business. To have a full circle business is important. Oh, she back? Oh, Tanya's. Can you join?
I don't know what happened.
Okay. All right.
It's like, wait, what happened? It just totally glitched on me. I was like,
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So what I was just saying while you were away is that I was talking about certain areas that I have: networking, marketing, and training. So I want to really the second part of this show is about you and about training. So with the Public Speaker Association, we have a number of different ways that Tanya gets your message out. So I want Tanya just to share a little bit about that, the power of having that, because, for example, if you're a speaker who joins the Public Speaker Association and really doesn't have anything, you have no marketing stuff behind you, nothing. How are some ways that we can empower you to do that? So you want to take over that question? Say we have someone new who's just starting as a general member. So take it away.
So, one of the reason I started the Public Speakers Association was for two things. What I found was that there were these amazing people that had this incredible expertise, but nobody knew about them, and they didn't even know that they could talk about these incredible, ideas. And then the other one is that the people that wanted to be a speaker didn't even know about opportunities to speak. So I wanted to combine these two kind of areas to give people the exposure factor. Because one of the things that keeps most people from getting booked is that no one knows their name, no one knows what they speak about, so how are they booking you? So a lot of what we do is just the exposure factor, marketing yourself, getting your name out there, getting your message heard, so that people have the opportunity not just to book you as a speaker, but then also how can you go and help them with their business or help them with their personal life, no matter. Each one of you has an expertise. You can help somebody. So there's got to be a business or an item, a product, a service that you're offering that you can change your life also at the same time. So it's an equal kind of win-win scenario. And then we've got all these speaking opportunities. I'm constantly sending them out. I'm about to send out a whole nother list of them so that people can take advantage of them and they can jump into these opportunities that are out there. They're booking for 2016 right now. You need to go ahead and fill the forms out so that you get a yes for 2016, right?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I already started. I mean, I apply. We were talking about this with Tanya a few months ago, and some of the members of the fact that you got to be prepared. And what I found is that I have things prepared. I have pictures of myself. I have a bio. I just created my super amazing new bio because of an audio that Tanya created. So it's a little longer, but it's more impactful of what I've done. But I really believe that everyone has a message, everyone has an expertise to share, and when you join the PSA, you can share that. So just because you record yourself on the virtual summit, you do Tanya shows, you can leverage those. Tanya gives you the links, you can leverage that. Say you don't even have a website, you least have stuff you can leverage and say, hey, listen, I was part of this show. This particular blog gets recorded. I can actually take this recording and leverage it on my blog, on my newsletter, even on my website. So it gives people you're collaborating with these people. You're a guest. Being a guest is a great thing. I've been a guest on many radio shows here in Toronto that have been viewed many times on social media and on YouTube. And that's part of the social proof that I have, that I've done it. And you don't have to do 10 of them. You can do only 2 or 3 and just leverage them on a monthly basis. But you have to build that social platform. And I think
that's why I wanted to create a bunch of different ways for people to get their name and their information out there so they can say, I've written articles, I've been on TV shows, I've been on virtual summits, I've been at conferences. You can start using these. And then what's great is everything is pretty much recorded nowadays. So now you've got information you can put up onto your website to really show that you're doing things nowadays.
I think it's important. I actually did an exercise about 2 weeks ago where I wrote out everything that I've been a part of, how many articles I've contributed to websites. I've contributed to Staples websites, to Canada, Carib 101. I wrote them out. I told Tanya, wow, it was like a powerful exercise because I know I've done it, but I haven't written everything down in a long time. I was like, it was 2 sheets, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, whoa, oh my goodness. And It was powerful for me because now I can go back and I share links on my newsletter of articles I've written. I just shared I was a guest interview on a friend of mine show earlier this year. I put it on my newsletter. 5 people watched it. So again, it's all about the expertise. And some of my friends have been telling me lately, man, you're the master of content. You're a content master. I'm like, I never looked at myself that way. I never, just my graphic artist, because he was doing some due diligence for the business card. Man, Jim, you have content everywhere. I was like, that's
and that's why you get booked, right? You get booked over somebody else because they only did something once and didn't even post it up on their website or something. You have to, it's marketing. It's about getting you out there so people can have a chance to go, oh my gosh, I've got to have Jim, If they don't hear you, you know.
I just got an email last night for a mini, I got into role of acting last year for about 6 months. I applied for a small paid role to do here in December. The gentleman emailed me, do you have any video of you? Yeah, which one do you want? I literally emailed him, so I sent him a few links of me in action.
And always, when you go and speak someplace, there's usually a videographer and a photographer there. Build a relationship with them like immediately and ask them, hey, could you do a little clip for me? Can you shoot some pictures for me? And give them ideas of what you're looking for and pay them something. And now you've got a professional, in an actual speaking environment that you can use. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing this for years. Even before Tanya mentioned, I've been recording myself, taking pictures. I did an event 2 weeks ago. I recorded myself. I was at an event here, and I did a little infomercial. They actually let me email it to myself. So I have it. It's about 30 seconds. I take pictures. I was at an event here 3 days in Toronto. I did interviews. I took pictures of myself because I want to see that's Jim 2015. What's the Jim of 2016 going to look like? So I made some serious commitments to myself. 2016. Some I'll share privately. Some I'll be sharing here over the thing. But a lot of it is I want to get back into better shape. So I said, all right, these are the days I'm gonna be working out. Nothing else. No email. No computer. No phone, which is hard for me. My phone is my best friend. Sorry. My phone is my best friend, but you gotta.
Mine's prettier. It sparkles.
Yeah, it's just like this is my old business card. Once you see my new one, it's gonna be awesome.
Nice.
I really believe that if you're gonna make, one of the great lines that I use all the time, and is that Tanya's motto: we don't want to change the world from the front of the room, and we have an opportunity to do that. It's not just a line, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fact. And I have had the opportunity to speak. I would say empower, and yes, maybe change a few lives. Maybe change people the fact that, listen, what are you networking for? Are you following up? Like I have this saying now: follow up, follow through is the right thing to do. It's like a little song I got, and I go. But the thing is, you got to follow up. I got about 27 new contacts. I'm calling every single one of them. My friend Suji says, "You're gonna call every single one of them?" I said, "Absolutely." I can call 2 a day, and I'll have them done in 2 weeks. And I already have people calling me already. But that's about follow through. And Sujit's a valuable member of me, but I told Suji, it's about talk the talk. So here's a great example. So Suji and I want to write this book called The Savvy Networker. Well, I'm using the little hook thing that Tanya says not to do, but I'm doing it. So I'm doing it. But this is a good point. So I'm a vivacious writer. I can write. Suji is a writer, but he has to be in that mood. I said, listen, I will invite you to this event that I'm going to next week, but you're going to write 5 articles. He was so excited. He's going to have them done by Monday, he told me, by Sunday.
Nice.
Because the reason I did this for this specific example was I know he's amazing. I know he's awesome. But I had to, leverage this ticket for it, and he's going to do it. So, yes, I hooked him. But there's a value at the end of that hook, and I know him for he's been a client of mine for my constant contact business for 4 years.
I wouldn't have any problem with you doing that. I don't know why you said that I would have a problem with you.
No, but I used to do that. No, but I used to do that earlier, Tanya. I used to hook people in. I was guilty of this many years ago. I had my ulterior motives. I was hooking people in, and I've grown since then. But I believe my Suji Reddy. He has spoken for TEDx. He has done a lot of work for wheelchair accessibility. He's actually just been hired next year to go around and evaluate the wheelchair abilities of a lot of the businesses here in Toronto. And because
Nice.
he did work in the Pan Am Games this summer. So we've been talking about the Savvy Networker for a long time. But after this weekend, both went to the same event. We said that is it. So we're going to get this book done. We're going to get edited, and it's going to be available for download at the end of November. Done.
I love it.
We will find an editor. He's concerned about the editing.
Nice.
We will find an editor.
And don't forget that we've got in the Public Speakers Conference coming up in June 26th through the 29th. We have nominations open for Collaborator of the Year, local, national, and international. So make sure everybody jumps in on that. And then we have a video contest. Is a presentation contest. So you get to submit under whatever kind of topic fits you the most, so that you can win the best, new speaker category, or the best, story, or whatever.
Yeah, well, this story with Suji could be, we can make a video about it and talk about how we collaborated to getting this amazing book done. But sometimes we talk a lot of things, but it's all about action. And for me, it's all about action. And it's about getting up, in the morning at 7 a.m. and filling out to that to-do list and getting it done. And I think that for me, I needed that push. And this weekend event for me was that. And again, when I went to San Antonio in June, it was an experience, ladies and gentlemen, that I'll never forget. We dealt with not just speakers, we dealt with some inclement weather, which was interesting. I've never seen rain that much in a long time, but it was very memorable. And I look at the pictures that I took. I took about 150 pictures that weekend, and I look back at some of the collaborations from Dylan Raymond, Candy Barone, and all these other amazing people that I've connected online. We've talked on Facebook. We've had one-on-one meetings. I've had, I think, 3 collaboration circles with David Kokol and yourself and the trainers. So that's about community, and that's what I wanted this to be about. Yes, it's about Jim. It's about what I bring. So when you're connecting with me, I bring something to the table, and I think that's important. And Tanya has mentioned this over and over again. And you want to talk a little bit about that before we end the show here in a few minutes, about the power of what you can do with community?
Oh, you have to develop a core value of people that get you, right? And it's kind of a magical moment, because a lot of times people feel like, especially if you're in business for yourself, you feel kind of isolated and by yourself. And so when you can start developing this great community of people that are like-minded, it explodes everything, because you're now talking to people that they're understanding at least your message. They understand, and they are excited about what you're doing. And so I've never had a problem with kind of excluding the people that I don't want to be around. That's why I've got my 2 rules. You've got to be nice, and you can't be perfect. So why wouldn't I want that, to be involved in, my world, is to keep out all the meaners, the grumpy people, the negative people, the people who expect me to be perfect. I am so sorry, So you really develop that community that you love being around, and that's when everything starts to really grow.
I think it does, and I think you attract. I think for me, I've been attracting amazing people, Tanya. It's been quite an experience to meet people that maybe from a distance I haven't spoken to in a while. But I tell you, the last 2-3 months, I've gotten some great phone calls, some great emails, people saying to me, "Man, Jim, you're doing some great things out there," because they're watching me online. I'm like, I have my groupies. but that's let me tell you, I'm not weirded out by that. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are watching you. They're watching because they admire you. They like what you're doing. They may not write a comment. They may not like it on Facebook, but they're watching. For me, that means a lot. Okay.
And you've got to always remember, there's always those people that are watching. That I get phone calls now from people that I've known them for 10 years, but they wouldn't sit and have coffee with me 10 years ago. But now that I'm at a certain level, now they want to have coffee. And that always plays, backwards to me. Get to know people when they're getting started. Yes, it's great when you can connect with people when they're already, moving, they're movers and shakers. But don't discount those that are just getting started, because if you develop those core relationships, oh my gosh, it will flower, because you're definitely creating a garden of flowers versus picking and choosing and cutting off, the roses and putting them into a vase. They only last for so long.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a quick story. I met a gentleman in 2011. His name is Suji Mukherjee. He runs a group called the Canada Job Expo here. We met him in 2011. He wasn't using a great location for his event. I influenced him to change the location, to bring it closer to the city. And let me tell you, 55 events later, he goes, that was the best decision I ever made. Thank God I didn't, it was too far away from the city core. So now what I do for him, I bring every speaker. He calls me. He's coming back from India in a couple of days. He calls me. What speakers do you have available? Because he changes the theme of the event. I bring all the speakers to the event. I've had the PSA members speak numerous times at this event. He has a great location. About 50 to 100 people come to the event, and now he doesn't call anybody else. He calls me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that. I've built a long-term relationship. Sometimes I'll tell you a funny story. When I take myself out of the speakers, like sometimes I put myself out to allow a PSA member, he gets mad at me. He goes, Jim, what do you? I really don't like. He's a very introverted type of person, but he gets angry. He doesn't use foul language. He goes, man, I hate when you do that. Like I say, listen, I appreciate that your angst, but I want to give people other chance to change their own. So I'm a master of ceremonies sometimes for the event. So I introduce all the speakers. I'm still there, but I don't want all the. Believe it or not, I love the limelight. I'm not going to excuse. I love the limelight, but sometimes I step back and give someone else the platform to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing to do.
You have to. You can't. There's speakers that aren't being booked anymore, or they're not being booked as much because they want the whole thing to be about them. And they show up and someone's on stage speaking and they still have to hoot and holler at the back when they say something to draw attention to them the whole time. And that kind of action actually really hurts you because, there's going to be a few people that like it, but the people putting on the event and the other speakers are not. And so you have to be very careful about that.
All right. So I have a surprise for Tanya before we end this show. So I started on my blog, I started a spotlight feature about 4 years ago. And this was because I read an article in the paper where they were interviewing entrepreneurs. So the scope of what I'm going to end this show, it's called 2 Dynamic Questions and You Supply the Answers. So my first question to Tanya is actually you started speaking. You've actually written many books. But what is one thing that kept you going as you were going through the process of evolving? Because you showed a picture of you. You were very authentic at the beginning of this interview. What is one thing that kept you, that motivated you to evolve and change? That either maybe personal or just professional. What is one thing that kept you going in that transition?
It's not easy by any means, but when I would go and speak and you see the light bulb go on in somebody's eyes, or they come up afterwards and they're bawling. I had these young men one time, it was a women's event, and they were 26, 27-year-old African-American, gorgeous young men, and they were bawling because of what I said. It hit their core. And if I could go out and change lives like that, I felt suddenly that it was kind of my duty. I had to get over my own issues so that I could go affect people that way. And the other thing is by putting people around me that are supportive also, not that they're always supportive, but to try to find that core friendships, the core relationships that you could call up and say, I can't get this to happen, or what's going on, and what do you see that I'm not doing? And you ask them to come to an event, especially if you've got other speakers that you're building relationships with and you're going to be both speaking at an event. Ask that person, hey, could you just watch me, see what I'm doing, see if there's any feedback, right? And then you do that for them, and you build that core value so that you're moving forward and you're seeing what needs to be adjusted.
All right. So the second question is it's an educational question. So we've talked about things, but say, someone reaches out to have, a conversation with you over the phone or a coffee. and they're very hesitant, or they want to get into speaking, but they're very hesitant. What are two things you would tell them to help them overcome or look into that aspect of evolving? Because sometimes it's a very personal decision to get it to start something, to get into that world of speaking, or to get into
Mhm.
that world of join the PSA. What would you say to them? What would you, if you didn't know them that well, but you would say, what are two things you would say to them to help them overcome or go over that,
Yeah.
up that mountain or down that, into that crevice of speaking?
Well, and a lot of it is, is actually showing them the transition. Because if I can
Mm,
go from this to this, anybody
yeah.
can do it. And what usually keeps people from doing and actually becoming successful is they give up too easily. And so
Mm,
a lot of it is the conversation of, are you committed to doing this? Because there's going to be a lot
mm,
of times that you're going to go, why am
mm,
I doing this again? And
mm.
you're like, okay, or you just get scared. There's
Yeah.
all these new things that, people are asking you to do. Come on Blab, go
Mm.
on Periscope, do this, do that. And you're like, what? I have to learn a new program? I just figured out Twitter, for goodness sakes, So, you got to get over that this world is moving fast,
Yes.
and we've
Yeah.
got to move fast with it. And you got to let go of, well, I don't have everything perfect yet. You won't ever have it perfect. People are like, well, I don't really like Blab because it's not good because I can't do this. And I'm like, get over it. Just do it
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay.
And that's always the hardest part, is the perfection. I can't make it perfect. I know. I'm so sorry.
Well, I'll end this show on being authentic with you here. I mean, I was on Periscope, ladies and gentlemen. I started in August, and I did 90 Periscopes. When Tanya told me about this Blab to do it, she challenged me last week to start my own Blab show. I wasn't very excited, and so I went in, I set the show up, and then 6 minutes before the show started, ladies and gentlemen, nothing. I couldn't get started. I was frustrated. My face was red. Tanya calls me on the landline. I'm like, let me guess who that is. And we tried. She says, redo this, redo that. I couldn't. Then she says, all right. She did it from her end, and I'm thankful. But I couldn't tell you what words I was using. I was not happy. But we pushed through. And my word to everyone out there is persistence. If there's one thing that I realized that people ask me all the time, Jim, what do you, how are you so persistent? People say I have great energy and I'm very persistent. If there was a bottle that said persistent, I would take the whole bottle. And I think I know people laugh. It's another joke I'm working on, but
Nice.
I think that you got to be determined. So I'm very thankful that Tanya came in to say that. I really appreciated that. I think this is a great platform to be more engaging with people. Periscope is good, but the engagement is definitely bigger on Blab than having other platforms. So again, I'd like to thank Tanya for being my first guest on Blab,
Yay!
and it's exciting. So I will. I'm not sure what I have to admit, I'm not sure how often I'm going to be doing my Blab Join the Gyms. I'm going to be figuring that out, but I'd like to maybe do a couple times a month. I would say for myself, probably with what I do. I know Tanya is doing them 5 days a week, but with different topics. So I will leave this for you to end this Blab here. Go ahead, Tanya. Thank you for being a guest on my first Blab show.
Yes, thank you for having me on. And everybody go to my website. I put it over there in the little chat window for Public Speakers Association. And then I also have a contest running every month. I choose the person on the first of the month to win an hour coaching session with me, which is $1,000 value. So go and sign up for that. It's Tanya Hoffman /win. So it's over there in the chat window. Thank you, Jim, for having me on. And I will see everybody later.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.